All right, good to see some more folks coming in today. As always, welcome to our Saturday session of BrightInvestor office hours. Good time to ask questions about BrightInvestor, the platform, how to use it better, tips on deal analysis, market research, or any other questions or comments you may have. We'll be here for most of the hour today, and we'll go ahead and open the floor up for questions, comments, or discussion. Hop right into it and go from there. So please don't feel shy. Go ahead and unmute yourself, drop a question in the chat, and we'll be happy to address it one by one. I'll say, Chester, I like the beard you got going on, my man. It's looking good.
Yeah, the salt and pepper look. Yeah, that's what
There we
happens
go.
with that's what happens when you start stressing out about stuff, you know?
Yep.
Uh,
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I'm not at my desk right now. I'm actually out and about, so I'm gonna be largely listening in on this session here.
No, you're A-okay. Don't worry. Don't you worry at all. You take your time. All right. Yeah, be safe. Be safe. Let's see here. Hey, Joe, my man, how you doing? Doing good? Perfect. No, the rust on mute. Don't worry. I
There you
called you
go.
out.
I hope you can hear me now.
Yep, I can hear you.
Thank you for saying hi. I was trying to push the button. I'm not good in technology, so trying to raise my hand. But anyway,
No problem.
good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing okay. I have a question. Like I said before, I'm not good in this technology thing. I've I heard about the logo. I got my logo because my company is 180 Restoration.
Yep.
And Bright Investor, I was trying to put the logo, and you say something to somebody. I forgot you who to email you the logo, and you'll help us, or can we do it on the
Yeah,
app?
so you can upload your logo yourself, but if you want help with that, you can always email me and I can hop on and just help you knock it out pretty quickly. It's not a problem.
Okay, sounds good. And the last one, I have, like I said, I'm not good in this technology and everything. I did my uh the investor, another investor, I mean the whole thing, the diagram and everything, and send it to a friend of mine so he can help me to determine we buy the property or not. But when I try to send it, I have to copy it someplace else and send it. There's any way I can send it directly to the Bright Investor from the Bright Investor without
Like
me
be
copying it and put it in my files and then send it? Because like I said, I'm not good at technology. I'm trying to do something that it will be easier from Bright
Yes.
Investors.
Yeah, so right now you're creating a PDF and then downloading it and then emailing it. Is that
See,
correct?
yes.
Okay. So what you could do is just copy the link and email that instead to go faster. And then your person you're sending it to can download a PDF if they want to. So in order to do that, and I'll show
There
that
you
here.
go. Show me this. Sorry.
Absolutely. I will no problem at all. That's why we have office hours.
There you go.
So when you're inside Bright Investor, all you need to do is come up to lists and reports in the top right.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are up there in the top right, go ahead and click on any one of the reports you have inside of Bright Investor.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, right down here, we have all these links.
Mm-hmm.
If once you click this little blue button to copy the link, it's now copied. And if you go to an email, for example, you can just go ahead and then pull up like for example, I open a new tab in my browser and I hit Control V and paste it,
Mm-hmm.
then the report will show right up. So all you need to do to make it easier on you is click this blue button
Huh?
and then open up your email and then paste it in your email and you're good to go.
Oh, okay. That's what I was trying to do. I put it and click it and save, but where? I was looking where I cannot find it. So I did the PDF and then copy it and email it. And anyway, but now I can see. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
I want to practice that one this afternoon.
Perfect.
Yeah, because I
Glad
found
to
a
help.
property and my friend said you have to act real quick. And the property was 220,000 and the area sell for 350. I went and looked
Okay.
at it, and I went to BrightInvestor. It doesn't make no sense. I said,
Hmm.
something's wrong, something's wrong. The bright investors tell me they will sell for 340 to see three something. And
Hmm.
but their houses, brand new houses for 400,000, 350. So who's gonna buy a remodel house when you can buy a brand new
Hmm.
house? So, but when I look at the bright investor that diagram, how many
Hmm.
days are on the market and the value. I said, okay, I got it. So I sent him the report, and we find out that the house can sell for 345. But when I went to look at the house, man, it's bad. So I called the agent. I look at the report. I called the agent and said, yeah, they paid 220,000. I said, what? No, it can be. You got foundation problems. It look like a jungle. You're gonna see the house, and if the roof is falling, it smells like mildew inside. It has mold. Anyway, so I sent the report, and I was looking at the report. It doesn't make no sense. So my friend said, no, tell him the 100K with the report that we
Perfect.
have from Bright Investor. So they told me they sold it. But 2 days later, they sent me back a request. I say, do you want to buy the property to get another chance? And I was thinking something went wrong. So that
Yep.
guy doesn't have Bright Investor. He doesn't have nothing like that. And he just bought it for 220. Now it went back to the market. So that's why,
Absolutely.
so that's why I'm trying to get this real quick so I can send it to
Yeah.
him. But thank you. Now
Absolutely.
I need to practice this a little bit more.
No, that's great. Thank you for sharing that with me. I mean, like, that is exactly why we're here, is when people are saying, is this a good value? Is this a safe area, right? Is this,
Mhm.
do the numbers make sense? And when someone else wants to pay more and they're going to be in a bad situation for, going that direction, and then you find out, hey, the property's right back on market. It didn't work
Mhm.
out. It's all there. The story is right in front of you, to be able to make it easy to understand. So I'm really glad that you were able to that you're using it in transactions, and you're able to avoid overpaying for properties.
Yep. And she's still waiting for me. I have not sent them uh, how you call a counter offer because my
Hmm.
friend said offer 150. I said no. You're gonna take about 150,000 just to fix it. Has old junk cars parked. They got a
Yep.
lot of low motors staying there in the back. Got a lot of trees down and a lot of
Yep.
debris. Water foundation, two areas is cracked. And I said,
Mm.
you know how much when I will repair for engineer to fix it? So it's a little bit of money there. And then we have to put it in the market. We can fix it, what, in 3 months, 4 months? Probably make it a brand new house. And then three
Yep.
months or 4 months to sell it. We're not gonna make no money for 150,000.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I offer 4K, and she said, well, we sold it for 220, so we got full price. Okay. Now it's back in the market. I have not sent it back. I get an offer, nothing like that. I want to see how they're going to stay. And then I want to say, well, I'll give you 70 or 80,000 for it,
Perfect.
full cash.
Exactly.
But
Yeah. And that's great. And like, I think that's super important to kind of point out here is, just because someone gets the price for a property doesn't mean the person buying it is going to make money.
mhm,
Right. And I said this before, like, I love real estate agents, realtors are a great asset, but for some situations, right? Sometimes the agent is more interested in selling you a property than they are selling you a deal. So being able to vet your numbers and do your own due diligence is to say, great, you got someone to offer 220. That doesn't mean they've closed on it, and that doesn't mean that that person's going to make money when they're done. And so, at the end of the day, we have to be our own best advocate, and being able to vet everything that we're going through to be able to come in with confidence. So, I think you're nailing it.
yeah, especially I build houses. So, and I did remodel. So I know when I see it and the price. And I don't know, I think you do it the same thing. You go by square footage on the price.
Yep.
I don't, because the square footage can separate from quality,
Sure.
quantity, and just to sell it. So I don't go by the price on the square footage. And then if I look at the other houses, I see the how they're doing it. And just looking outside, I can tell that they indeed a quality, they did quantity on the classic of the paint and exterior. So I said, there's no way this guy can make money with 220. There's no way. And I was right, back in the market.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Well, I'm glad to hear it and glad I could help.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Dolores, how have you been? How's your project going?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing well, can't complain. Just moving and shaking on some projects here and trying to make some things push out some upgrades. So always a fun
Yeah,
day.
very excited. Yeah, I'm looking at a new property in Kansas right now.
Oh,
I actually bid on an auction last week, and the price was, I guess, too low for the seller. But they're gonna put it back up for auction, so I'll be able to rebid on it. So that's another
yeah.
adventure to go down.
Is that
But
on Zome.com or auction.com?
it's actually on
Okay.
hubzoo.com.
Hubsy. Okay.
So
And-
yeah, so that's I have 3 days left now. It went back up, so
Okay.
I'll rebid on that one. But the one that I'm looking at in Kansas, this one is actually a duplex, so it'll be like my first duplex.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a burr situation or a turnkey rental? What's the strategy here?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a turnkey. I talked to the seller. It's a for sale by owner situation. I talked to the seller. I have to call him back on Monday and see if I can ask him to actually tour the property for me.
Sure. Sure.
But just kind of based on the information that's there and kind of what he provided, it seems like it'll definitely be a good cash flow situation. But obviously I need to see the actual, right? So I'm
Yeah.
always
Well, you
hesitant
want to
to
give me
see the
you want to
inside.
give me the address? We can look at
Yeah,
it together.
it's 612
Okay.
East Hill Street,
In
Independent.
Independence.
Yeah.
All right. Independence. So first and foremost, I'm just going to go ahead and take a look see at the property,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to do a little walk around town. Okay, so first off, what I'm noticing is a side by side as opposed to an up down. So side by side is going to be more attractive for tenants. People generally don't would prefer to be side by side as opposed to top down.
Mm-hmm.
The shutters look like they need replacing. Well, let's see. Hold this. This is a 2025 photo. Okay, so I'm good about that. Looks like there's some paint work that needs to be done. The siding itself looks okay for the coloration. The concrete looks pretty good. So when I'm looking at a property like this, I'm looking at the cracks in the concrete to see if there's any major
Mm-hmm.
issues. Looking around town, see a lot of single family ranch style houses in this direction. Seeing a little bit of kind of broken down cars, like a Pedro's property, some broken down cars around here on some of the lots. So just probably a C plus B minus area, just looking at what's going on around nearby. But I love the brick in the front. It looks like a sturdy building. If I look in the back, I see some window AC, so probably no HVACs. You want to confirm that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's go ahead and check out the area. First and foremost, let's go ahead and do our usual analysis on the appreciation. So we'll see how the only one zip code here to see how Independence has been performing over time. Hopefully going up, but we'll see here. Absolutely going up, 13% per year. Home prices here are pretty cheap, average around 160,000. So definitely affordable here nearby. And as far as population growth for this area, we'll do the city of Independence. It's up by about 3.5%. So trending up, which is great. And now we'll check out that income growth for this area as well and see what's going on. And it's up. My goal, right, is minimum 15%. It's at least 17% here, which I love to see. People here can afford 1,400 bucks a month for rent pretty easily here, which is great. Love to see that. And as far as the type of people that you have in the area, City of Independence is majority. You got 42% rentership. So been a big increase in number of renters here over the last decade. A little outside of my comfort zone for 30 to 40%, but not by much. Not too shabby. Now, if we take a look at the schools, some average performing schools up in the north side. That's great. Any charter schools nearby? No, but some decent schools, which is awesome. And if we look at where all the businesses are in Independence, how convenient you are. Okay, so this is like kind of that two town road, right? You got Main and you got Main Street and 10th Street. Everything's on Main Street and 10th Street. So you're what? You're just a couple blocks up and to the right of where everything else is located. Let's look at our cafes and grocery stores. Yep, so everything's right there. So the closer you are to this main intersection, the more centrally located you got it. So overall, not too far away. You're not like way out in the boonies somewhere. Perfect. Let's go ahead and look at the deal itself. All right, I've got a 6-bed, 2-bath, so it'll be 3-bedroom, 1-bath units, if I'm not mistaken. Owned by an absentee landlord, which is great, and they own multiple properties. Oh,
Yeah,
Dolores.
he owns like 15. So
Oh,
he's
there
selling
you
this
go.
one and he's selling one more in Independence.
There
The
you
other one
go.
is definitely not as nice, but
Okay. Yeah, he's got a decent little portfolio going on here.
mhm.
So I'm gonna go ahead and look at what a 3-bed, 1-bath apartment rents for. Let me get data here. I'm in some trouble there. Let's see what other rent data I have available here. Let's look at 3 1s. That's not right. Okay, let's go ahead and let's look at 3 1s from this data source instead. About 950 bucks on
Mhm.
average, right under 1,000. Okay. Pop this back up. I'll have to reload that for myself. 612 East Hill Street. Okay, 612 East Hill Street. So about 1,000 bucks. We'll call it 1,000 bucks aside for fast math. What we're looking to do here. So on our analyzer, how much is he offering it to you for?
Well, he has it for 119, but he had just bumped it up by 22,500.
Oh,
So,
stupid.
yeah.
That's dumb. So
Yeah,
I'm seeing central heat and air conditioning, but we saw in the street photos that it had window AC units, so we'll have to check that out.
right.
What's going on? 65 days on Zillow, and the average days on market here is 95 days. Okay, so technically he's not quite there yet, but there's been a huge jump. You see this from September, it was 45 days, and now we're at almost
Right.
100 days. The
Hmm.
market is absolutely slowed to a crawl here.
It
Wow.
does in the winter. It completely like
Yeah.
stops. So,
Yeah. So absolutely slow to a crawl here. Population's down over the last decade, but it started coming back up over the last couple of years, which is great. Okay. So if we look at this and say he wants 119 for it, let's assume that it's turnkey and you're going to spend less than a couple $1,000s just getting it ready, and you hire
mhm.
a property manager, all things considered. I mean, technically, you'll cash flow. It's
Right.
16% cash on cash, not bad. A little 4 caps, a little low, but heck, if I'm you, right, 100 grand is a little more attractive,
Hmm.
especially if we put all these numbers to zero, like I always do, and just see what our gross cash flow is on a monthly basis. Great. Yeah, basically a 10 cap or 850 bucks a month in monthly.
Right.
That's not bad to me. I mean, virtually, if you guys rent this out for 1,000 bucks a month, you could technically have like one side vacant and you're still doing
Hmm.
okay. You're only going to
Right.
be down about 100 bucks a month, which on a duplex is you can buy a duplex and be 50% vacant and only out 100 bucks a month. That's not terrible.
Right.
Not bad at all. Well, factor that back in. Even with 5% for each of those, $500 a month, 28% cash on cash, and a 6.5 cap, I'd do that deal at 100 grand.
Yeah.
I like it. Nice, very nice find. Where'd you find this one?
Well, I was looking at another property. I had bumped out to Zillow, and then I noticed that one kind of came up on the feed. So I
Yeah,
clicked over to it, and it was a for sale by owner. So I was like, hey, I can do
nice
for sale by
Fizbo.
owners.
Absolutely. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I see a lot of potential here as a long-term rental. With the fact the income's going up the way it is, plus the
Mm-hmm.
population is on its right rebounding, plus we
Mm-hmm.
saw the what was it, the income. So as far as people can afford up to $1,300 a month pretty easily, and you're charging 1,000, there's a lot of room for being affordable. You're definitely not pricing people out.
Right.
I like it. I think it's a solid little deal. Rich, I see you have your hand up. What's up?
Yeah, a question. We're talking about management companies. How do we assume that there's a management company in that town?
So actually, I
Generally,
already have a
oh, go ahead,
property
Phillips.
in that town, and I do have a management company already.
Okay.
Perfect.
And
Generally, even in the smallest of towns, someone's doing property management. If it's not necessarily like a national franchise or an established business, there's almost always at minimum a retired realtor or a contractor who does some property management on the side, at a small basis. Now, they're not always the most professional, but they do get the job done. They'll go take a look and they'll be your on the ground component.
just want to say something, Dolores. I had bought a property on auction several years ago,
Mhm.
and I went and I stopped. Somebody else got it. They called me the next day and they said, make me an offer. I said, no, I'll skip. When it came back on, I got it for 20,000 less than what I offered the first time.
There you
Nice.
go.
Yeah, so you may not necessarily have to go up as high as you think you do.
That's the way to
Awesome.
do it right there.
Thank you.
That's the way to do it. Did you say this was the auction one? This is a different one than the auction one.
No, it's a different one than the
Okay.
auction one.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. My only thing I'm looking at is it is a 1925. Doesn't mean it's
Yep.
badly built. So we definitely want to. I'd probably bump up my repairs to 7%, my capex to 7, just to be a little more conservative
Really?
on a
Mm-hmm.
monthly basis. But at that point, right, you're putting away almost, geez, 14% of the rent. So you're putting away approximately $300 a month, just in case, for any major repairs, which not too shabby. Go ahead, Rich.
Right.
Yeah, a house that old, should we assume that there's asbestos in that house?
Depending on the region the building was built at, that can be different, go different ways. The safe bet is yes. A safe bet is that when you have early 20s product, there's going to be some level of lead paint and likely some level of asbestos wrapping on some of the interiors. I know many properties in St. Louis have it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
largely fine. I mean, don't go scratch the asbestos wrapping and lick it, and you're going to be okay. And don't eat paint, and most times everything's going to be a-okay.
Uh,
So if you can do those things, well, but besides that, you'll be all right.
are they local laws, asbestos, or is it federal?
So I believe it's federal, if I'm not mistaken. And old buildings like this are generally grandfathered in, but there are some generally local or federal regulations you have to bounce between if there's going to be any like major renovation or major things going on. Most times you can, when you buy a property, there's some type of seller disclosure, that you have to be able to fill out that acknowledges the existence of, say, lead paint or asbestos wrapping on the property, and you fill that out to say, look, this is an older building and has these materials in there. You've been made aware of this thing. When you rent it out, you disclose it to those tenants. You have to put in specific type of literature that says, hey, just so you know, this is there. Don't be an idiot. Don't go lick it. And you're going to be fine. Um, and generally speaking, you don't have any issues. But there's not a reasonable expectation from local municipalities or the federal government that you are, going in and buying a house like this and then completely restructuring the entire piping or, internals, because in that case, no one would buy these houses due to the cost to have to do something like that, and these houses would sit and rot. So generally, as long as you disclose the appropriate disclosures you have to do, you're in a pretty good situation. Absolutely. I've had the same thing as some St. Louis property. Um, this is very similar, very similar. As long as the seller disclosed it and you disclose it to tenants, you sign a dotted line, say, yep, this is where it's at, this is what it is, and you're good to go. It's also why, generally speaking, those types of tenant, like generally only like adult tenants will go there. Um, Usually it's in if people have very young children who can't be told, don't go peel paint or don't go do this thing, um, generally that kind of dissuades them. But usually, if you're gonna have if there is lead paint on any of the interiors, the best thing to do is do a scrape and paint. So you have someone come in, you scrape all the lead paint off, and you repaint the interiors. But if there's like some level like lead paint like way upside on the exterior or something like that, it's not really an issue because if there is a lead paint inside the property or outside the property, at this point, no one's using it anymore. It will have chipped, fell off, and you will have had to repaint anyways. If there is any lead paint on the interiors, that's when you go ahead and do a scrape and paint to address the issue.
Yeah, because if you have a building with those asbestos shingles, if you
Hmm.
start taking them off, then that's the big issue. They like tent the whole
Yeah,
neighborhood. It's ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. And so that's where if you have asbestos shingles up there, that's going to be a
Just go
larger
over it. Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be a larger project, a larger conversation. What's less intrusive is like when you have asbestos wrapping on specific like ductwork or plumbing or piping inside the house. And the only time there's an issue is like if someone goes up and like starts scratching it, or like takes sandpaper and just starts like whittling on this asbestos wrapping and it goes in the air, that's when you're gonna have an issue. But again, as long as you have you know, adults, tenants who can be told don't do that. And I don't know why you'd be rubbing sandpaper on a pipe anyways. You're fine. Dolores, I'm looking forward to hearing how this property goes, but it looks like it's a decent little cash flow machine. Looking forward to hearing how it transacts.
Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Who else can I pick on today? Take a look. See. Hey, Kate, how you doing?
Hi there. Sorry, I just got in late, so sorry.
No problem at all. No problem at all. What have you been up to? Any projects going on?
Yeah, actually, we just sold a duplex last night. We just closed on it.
Oh, congrats.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, yeah, and my husband was just asking me this morning because I have a partner, an out-of-state partner on it, and we invest in Cleveland. And he goes, "Wait, I thought you were doing this to buy and hold." And I said, "Yeah, that's the plan." But what happened was we went with our buying broker's ARV. And then in reality, and so we did a major fix up on it, put in like 40K, and the ARV came in way short of what we were planning on. So we had a hard money loan on it at 12%. So we were trying to do a
Yep.
DCR, and then that appraisal did not come in. It came in, I don't know, $20,000 less. And so it no longer made sense for us to hold it. I mean, there was just really
Yep.
no cash flow there. I mean, very
Yep.
minimal to deal with two kind of troublesome tenants. So anyway, so thankfully we just signed on the dotted line last night. So we're just so happy about that. So
Great.
yeah, so that's one thing off our plate. But of course, right after we'd signed, 2 hours later, we get a call from one of our tenants saying, "Oh, one of the outlets kind of, I don't know, I pulled out the vacuum cord and the outlet kind of came out or something like that." So we're like calling the broker this morning, like, did the buyers signed, right? We signed last night. I mean, we don't really own this anymore, right? And he goes, "Well, the cash goes, they're doing the cash on Monday." So anyway, we're just like,
Oh, that's great.
do we have to get a handyman over there to deal with this? So anyway, just so nice to have that off our plate. So now we're out there looking again, but I'm kind
Great.
of, I think I mentioned it in one of the last of these,
Mhm.
that these duplexes, like, I just don't understand. I mean, duplexes are great in terms of cash flow versus a single family, but, and then you guys are talking about like maybe fourplexes. Sometimes I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. We have issues where we've got two duplexes and the two tenants don't get along. So now we've got 4 different people calling us up, just driving us nuts. So anyway, I'm not sure. I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll look into self-storage instead.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, absolutely. There's a lot of different asset classes to kind of
get rid
go
of the
after.
yeah, the tenants and toilets issues. I don't know. So
Well,
I'm
I
just
think there's a couple. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, you go ahead. Sorry. So
I
long
think
answer
there's,
to your question. Sorry about that.
yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I would say that whenever you can get to those like 900 plus rents, and the $1,000
Mhm.
plus rents is going to be better. So like in Dolores's case, right? She had a duplex and you look at it's being offered at 60,000 a unit and the rents are 900 to $1,000. And like I
Yeah,
mentioned here, like that's exactly what you're looking for. Can you buy something for
exactly.
60 to 80K a door and it can rent for over $1,000 a unit? And in that
Right,
case, you can't. And so that makes sense to be able to go do something like that. So
right.
I highly encourage if you can
Well,
find those right.
we do have
Go
one
ahead.
of those. Yeah, we bought it for
Yeah,
110, and I think it's bringing in 12 plus 9. It's a little over 2,000.
great. Okay, it's a duplex, right?
That one worked. But you know, we put in 5 grand or something to clean it up, flooring and paint. But this other one, you know, we just thought it was in a nicer part of Cleveland, and by putting 40K in, you know, we'd really ramp it up, and that just didn't work. So it was
In
time to
that case,
get rid of it and move on.
yeah, absolutely. And so I think with the tenants and toilets issues, I mean, there is when it comes to the more passivity of the income. I mean, just self-storage can be very attractive from the idea that you're just dealing with folks. One thing I always just dealing with stuff. One other thing I mention a lot about self-storage is that it can be exceptionally useful. The value a lot is depending on the self-storage facility you're doing, you can do things such as are they temperature controlled? Are there lights? Are they powered units? Or is there
Mhm.
automatic gate that have key fobs on the outside? Is it marketed well? Those
Right.
types of things. So there are your very high end. Oh, it's all interior, so temperature controlled, light controlled, electrified inside self storage lockers, which can command higher rents. But your average storage locker is going to be could be 50 to 100 to $150 to $200 a month, depending on the sizing. So what ends up being really critical is the number of units that you really need to get a decent amount of units. So your average price per month is say $100 or $150. You're going to need approximately 20 units to get a little over $2,000 a month in gross revenue, which is
Hmm.
not bad. But it just requires a little bit more market research on that side and a better understanding of some of the other storage lockers that are available. So, like, I think we actually added that into EI a while back, if I'm not mistaken. Did I? Yeah, we
In,
did.
into
Share my
what?
screen into BrightInvestor.
Oh, you
So
did? Okay.
yeah, so like in BrightInvestor, we added in the business section, you can click storage, and we'll
Okay, hold
show
on.
you where all the other self-storage facilities are in town,
Okay.
specifically so that you
Oh,
can take a look at like, okay, great, here's American Self-Storage, and then we link it, we give you the website of that spot. So if you're gonna say, hey, great, here are the storage facilities nearby, right, that we can take a look at. We can say, awesome, what are my options here? It's okay, great.
hmm.
Click on this. Like, for example, they're offering free first month rent. So that's a concession.
Yeah,
And their prices they start at $16 a month
right,
for that's kind of storage locker. But you see it's non-climate, it's street
mhm,
level. You can
right.
drive it's a roll-up unit. So their best ones are 10 to 30. So as long as you can get a significant number of units, it can end up working well. But usually that's to get the kind of units you need to be able to command the rents you want.
Yeah.
You do need to start hiring staff. And generally speaking, or at least dedicating some more into the marketing space. So I just always make that aware that it can work, but
Hmm.
if I've learned anything in this business so far is that no one asset class is going to be perfect. And so self-storage might make the most sense for you. I just recommend
Hmm.
like let's talk through it on
Yeah,
what all the ins and outs of going that direction um
right.
for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Donato, where'd you find those? How'd you get to that again?
Yeah, so I went to businesses on the sidebar.
Ah, okay.
And then what we have in here is, for example, we also have people who are looking at laundromats. So we added laundry. So he's
Oh,
like,
that's
here's where the laundry, yep. So here's the laundromats in town. Here are the storage facilities, and then here are the RV parks in town. So we have all three of those in here. So you can get an idea of where those types of things are and look at like, hey, if I'm looking to buy an RV park in town, how many are there? You know, where do those things exist? So
How
that's all
about
directly
how about hotels or motels?
hotels or motels. And you go to the franchise section. We
Yeah, I'm not
have
looking for a franchise, and I'm looking for like individual motels or hotels though.
yeah, so I was saying in the franchise section, we have like Hiltons and Marriott's. So if you're looking for like competition in an area, we have at least those two we can take a look at. But I don't know if we have if I don't know if we have hotels and motels in the business side. I can always look at adding it though
Yeah, if you
and putting
could,
that
'cause
in.
I have a friend right now that's buying motels, so it'd be nice if we could see whether motels are in the area.
Sure,
And
absolutely, I can write that down.
does it kind of give you some of their historical data of what?
For those properties, no, it wouldn't. It would just show you, hey, here's a location, a website, in these areas for what's going on. And then, of course, you'd have your income and population dynamics as well for those types of properties.
Yeah, because I have a friend right now that's looking at a motel, and I'm trying to get some numbers and things for him. It's not producing
Okay.
money, so I'm like, it's not worth business isn't worth anything if it's not doing anything. We have the land but everything needs to be redone. So we're trying to figure out what to offer them.
Yeah, I mean, so the way that typically is going to operate is you have the real estate and you have the business, right? And you have the business value. And when it comes to motels and hotels, you can kind of run them on a numbers basis a little bit like an Airbnb as far as nightly rate, average occupancy, average trends over time, and then being able to underwrite to say, hey, if our average nightly rate is going to be $87 and we have this many units and we're going to operate at a 60% occupancy rate, here's what the cash flow is going to look like from an NOI basis. And then we can make an offer based on the cap rate for the business. And then we can make an offer on the land itself. So pulling things like tax records from the local assessor's office and seeing what the land underneath the property was last assessed for can be useful. But and when it comes to properties like that, if it's not cash flowing as it currently sits,
Yep.
the best thing that we can do is underwrite it and to a what makes sense for you. So a lot of those situations, I really advocate, how long is it to take you guys to if the whole thing needs to be renovated? And I don't know how many units it is. Let's say it's
It's
50.
it's 29 units, and all of it needs to be renovated. And it's
Okay, so you got
he says the guy has like 13 that he says are up, and he says people who are going to be like long term kind of in there ish, they don't care about the condition and stuff, but yeah, no, he says that maybe two of them are up out of 29. So he says like 450 to renovate, and they want like 350 to buy it. So I'm kind of like, dude, that's 800 grand that you have sitting there. So I was saying this play probably would be a what do you call it, master lease or something along
okay.
those lines,
Yep.
and then so he controls it. He can do his renovation, so he doesn't have to give him all that money up front. And the guy who's buying it from doesn't create a tax, event on the dollar amount that they want to buy it for, because him giving him that money, and now he's got all this money that he's making payments on. It doesn't make sense to pay for an asset that's not making money.
What you could do is a colleague of mine just did this for an assisted living facility we were looking at in New Orleans, but essentially you negotiate it to where you can say, I'll offer you X price. You're gonna sell or carry X% of this, right? Or I'm gonna get a loan for the first part, you're gonna carry this portion of it. I don't have to pay you any interest or start making any payments to you until this property is 80% occupied for at least 60 days straight. Now, after that point in time, then we start making principal and interest payments to you, so that the cash that I would have to spend on your down payment or something, or be paying you over the course of the next 18 months, instead goes to the property renovation. And if they don't like that, you say, okay, great. We'll instead of doing it at occupancy, we'll say 18 months. So basically we have a 0% down, no payments for the first 18 months. We're pouring in hundred thousands of dollars. So hey, if we don't perform, you get your property back fully renovated. And then you guys avoid any interest or mortgage payments for 18 months. You pour the money in, at which point your client starts making payments at that time, to allow them to. It's a little bit of risk for both of you, but you're also de-risked on either side. So then,
That's basically a master lease.
yeah. So that's
You
that's the
control it.
exact model.
You have a future value that you have. I should, you know, you don't pay somebody what something's going to be. You pay them for what it's worth. A business is worth what you have it as now. So it's not
Yeah.
making any money. So it's really the land, and you can't get any money on it because it doesn't have the occupancy rates, and it's, you know, nobody's
Exactly.
around them. They're down. So you can't get any money on it. So nobody wants to lend on it. So it's got to be some sort of a seller finance. In this case, it's a master lease, because if he sells it to you now at this price, then that creates a taxable event for him. But under master lease, you know, all you're doing is paying him a monthly stipend. So you can only be taxed on the money that he's making on
Yep.
that. And then, like you said, if it's no money, it's no money. So it's kind of exactly what you're saying, I think, that we'll probably
Yeah.
come up with. So,
It
but
makes the most
if you had
sense.
a hotel there, would be nice, a motel or something for businesses. Thanks, man.
Yeah, as long as there's enough dollars allocated to marketing and advertising, that's what's going to be key to getting the kind of folks in. And you know, you have to decide, are the rents the existing long-term tenants are paying, are those justified, or are you trying to increase the nightly rate? And are you looking to make it, hey, this is a long-term motel and we service clients who might need to be here for several weeks or several months at a time? Or are we trying to be a bit more higher end, maybe shorter term duration, and market the property appropriately? But good motels can do great if there's, especially if there's relationships. Something I've seen work really well is if it's an area where there's construction going on or any major projects, you can call local contractors or people who are bringing in workers to do specific jobs and offer them group rates. Say, hey, look, instead of putting them up in a hotel for $300 a night, you can put them up in my motel for $150 a night, and we'll just give you bulk discounts coming in, or like that's cheaper for you. And so you can have these basically kind of quid pro quo, sometimes actual contracts, sometimes not actual contracts, with local folks who are bringing in consistent personnel that need to be housed. So that's
Yeah,
a
it really
really
works
nice way.
well. Like what you're saying, that really works well in like a high cost area where
Yeah.
the contractors are like charging, you know, like ridiculous amounts of money. I grew up in the Monterey Peninsula, so there's Carmel, Pebble Beach, and those people don't even ask you how much it is, just go do it. You know.
Yep.
And then now everybody
Mhm.
else is in that area, you know, like they don't want to do anybody else's jobs. And so you bring somebody from outside, but then they have to pay for the hotels or this, that, and the other. And so it's still cheaper to import that labor, you know, from 50, 60, 70 miles away if you can put them up at a decent rate. So now you can get
Yeah.
somebody, you have your whole property, put them up in a hotel, and it still makes sense. So your cash per square foot, you know, can be reduced by 50 to 60, you know, bucks or something like
Yep.
that, doing something like that. So the guy I'm talking about, he already owns a 50 unit hotel that he bought, did seller financing. He owns like another 20 plus four. I've done like 10 loans for him, you know, because you know I'm
Okay.
a lender or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, man, thanks. I need a, how long is the training video stuff? How long does it take to go through that? Because I need to do that, obviously.
So the training videos for investors are about 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so, that we put on there. So
So everything I need to
takes a
go
little.
through how long would it take for me to go through all your training videos?
Oh, every training video we've ever put out. I mean,
I mean, the
there's
ones that are learn to learn how to use the software is what I'm saying.
yeah, a couple hours.
Okay, thanks.
Once you get
I'll
yeah,
get
not
that
too bad.
done today then. Thanks, man.
You got
Thanks.
it. Absolutely. Let's see here. Let's see. Any other questions I can help support with today as well for BI or anything else I can do? We got
Hello.
some. Yeah.
Hello. You made me realize I can actually buy something. Like, I think I told you, like, last time we checked, I was like, my sister's a realtor. She's like, you never bought a house from me. I'm like, student loans are keeping me out of owning anything. And now I'm like,
Yeah.
hold on, what?
Absolutely. How you doing?
I'm good. I actually just sent a connector email. One of my clients, their last name is Bright. and they're real estate investors. So
Yeah.
so I'm not a real estate investor. I'm joining because I need to learn this stuff because a lot of my clients invest in real estate. I'm a financial advisor, and so my 1 o'clock casting call for the blocks, she didn't pick up. So then I was available for this, and I was like, let me hop on and see what this is about. And so yeah, I told the Brights, I was like, hey, you need to connect with someone I know. He owns BrightInvestor.com, which ironically, they're also real estate investors.
Easy.
Yeah, that was easy.
Absolutely.
So I
For
think
the
I should yeah, I'm gonna send more people to this because I've been interested already, but now it's easier for me to like send people because it's like, oh,
absolutely.
this is pretty cool. This is like mind blowing.
Thank you.
Mhm.
If you
Oh, go ahead.
if you grab my number there, I am a mortgage person. I've been doing it for almost 30 years.
Oh my God.
I have a loan that will literally blow your mind because you have people that are investors on
Mm-hmm.
their current mortgage at their home. If I could save
Yeah.
$200,000 to $300,000 or more, I had one client that saved them $300,000. They took a 30-year loan, 28.9, all the way down to paying it off in 6.9 years and saved 300,000.
Oh
So
my God.
I can give you a presentation on that today if you want to see that. So
I'm
you would
free.
be
I
the
don't.
best financial planner in your whole
Oh
area.
my God. Yes, that's actually my goal is to be the best financial advisor ever.
If I show you this
Perfect.
tool, it's going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
And I have every other loan you can imagine. I do ground up construction, everything. So Donato knows that I'm with the company we have like
Yeah.
3,000. We're the biggest mortgage company out there, period. And
So
that's
I'll
where I
be
found
free again in the
Donato.
next 2 hours because I have to hop off for 2 o'clock
Yeah,
soon.
but just take my number. Give me a check.
Yep,
Give me a
I
text.
just took it down. I'll shoot you a text. Oh my God, yes.
I could
So
jump on
absolutely.
that too if you're doing group just to learn more.
Yeah, well, just text me and I can show you guys all
Oh,
that.
you all put your phone numbers. You guys are smart.
You get some smart cookies here.
Oh, you guys really are bright.
Yeah.
I
If
need
you
to
want
I'm
my
do.
too.
number to chat, I can just send you my business card.
Oh yes. I'm gonna I'll just put my info too.
Yeah, put it in a chat, and then I can do that for Richard as well. I'll just send you my blank business card.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I
Those
didn't
of you
mean
who
to
don't
jump in
know,
there. I didn't mean to jump in there like that, Donato, but I know I could help her and literally knock it out the freaking park for her. So
Thank you.
absolutely. Not a, as part of these office hours is about community is developing and connecting as well. Go ahead, Rich.
Then on that job, on that hotel thing that Mike was talking about, could
Mhm.
that be a good conversion to a multifamily, being that they're doing all the construction?
Potentially could be. Yeah. There's a couple of factors in play on if it makes sense to do it. But yeah, many times people will take 20 to 40 unit motels and convert them to kind of boutique multifamily properties. Absolutely an option. And something we'd have to analyze because typically that involves putting in a more complete kitchen. Typically, usually motels are all basically the studio beds. So kind of, you walk in, there's a bed, and then that's it. They're all going to be studio apartments. So you look at the rents for those types of things, and depending on the location, the type of property you're looking at, it can potentially make a ton of sense. So yeah, absolutely, it's possible.
And the size of the area, if it's a
Mhm.
one-horse town with a traffic light, you may not want to do that
Exactly.
as a motel, because it may not, call for the people passing through to stop there.
Exactly. So you have different needs. So absolutely possible. We can talk about it too. And for those who don't know, Marcel is a part of. She mentioned the Blocks, which is a entrepreneurship game show. So she does some of the casting for it, and that was the TV show that I was on last July, I believe, June or July now. That competing against other entrepreneurs, and that show, my season will be debuting. I don't know,
I
the
don't know,
next
like
month or
couple
two,
months.
something like
Yeah.
that. So when that goes live, you guys will get an email about it, and if you're interested, you can watch me throw down with 100 other entrepreneurs and see what happened out there in the wild west.
Yeah. I was highly impressed with you, by the way, whenever you came through my section on that because the way it's set up, I'm a pod director when I'm there, so I get 10 entrepreneurs per day in my breakout. And when Donato came through, I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna win.
No spoilers, no spoilers.
Sorry.
It was,
I don't know who won. I didn't.
uh,
I didn't. I didn't. I went. I was done mentally and
yeah,
didn't even pay
I
attention
totally
at
understand.
the end. Yeah. So no spoilers. But it's
Perfect.
mm-hmm.
All right, guys. I have a webinar that is going to be starting in Bright Investors asked me to present at their conference today. So I need to cut off a few minutes
Right.
early today and go present at their event. But I want to say thank you guys for being here today, and I'm glad we got some connections going. So make sure if you haven't already gotten their people's phone numbers that you've taken photos or got what you need to get done. And of course, we'll have everyone back in our next office hours on Wednesday evening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns in the meantime, you can always go ahead and email me to don@brightinvestor.com. And I will look forward to seeing you guys again in just a couple days.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Perfect.
Thanks, Donato.
Thanks, guys. All
Thanks.
right. Bye.